Darley Australia is one of the largest breeding operations in the Southern Hemisphere, and following the lead from its overseas bases, it prioritises the health and well-being of all the horses it breeds and races. So a question often asked is what happens to brood mares when their breeding careers are over? Watch this story and find out as we look at some wonderful matriarchs who featured with descendants being successful in the Melbourne Cup Carnival just completed. John, it's just a beautiful morning here at Darley Woodlands, and so great to see some real breed shapers as far as your retired brood mares. It really is telling, even in just one paddock, kind of the history of Darley Godolphin in Australia.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, we're very fortunate to have these girls here. Like, they've been great brood mares for us, and now they're sort of retired, and their children and grandchildren are still producing for us, and it is a great story about Darley Godolphin in Australia.
Well, some of them, you know, have been nannies, and that's obviously a thing that a lot of retired brood mares do become. They can go and, when they retire from producing foals, and actually look after the next crop of young horses coming through. Some of them can't, though. Tell us about what makes a good nanny.
Well, it's just that nurturing nature. The great thing about having the mares is that they've got a life after breeding. So some of them had a life after racing, and then they have a life after breeding as well. And then we use them for nannies once we wean all the foals, and it's just sometimes that nurturing nature that comes through. Like, some of them need discipline as well, so some are very good at doing that, but they really have to be a bit of a nurturing nature, and we put them in with the mob before we wean, and then once we take the mares away, the mum's away, then the nanny's left there and she looks after them for a month or a couple of months, and yeah, it's great to see, and they've still got a great use to us, and it's a reward for effort for everything they've done. They then have a life living out here in the paddock with each other and chilling out and telling stories, no doubt, about what their kids were like, the same as all grandparents.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, when they do retire from being a nanny, when they get that bit too old or they're not suited, it's so wonderful to see they're still so well cared for. What does it take to really care for these mares at this age?
Well, funny enough, it's like, I think you let them get back to nature a little bit. Like, we don't mollycoddle them that much. Like, they're out here together, they're sort of out in the elements to some extent. But it's funny how when you just give them a good paddock to be in, not too rich a grass either, you don't want to get too heavy and fanned or anything like that, but they actually just chill out, and Mother Nature takes care of it, and they just wander around, and they just, as I say, they're quite happy in their environment, in that herd environment, because they are a herd animal after all. So they get back to that, and they're quite happy doing it. And
well looked after too. I mean, you do check on them twice a day. There's a lot of care for these horses through your whole team here.
Yeah, no, the team love it. I mean, it's great for them to see it. They get to know what they've done in their racing and breeding careers, and then they'll get their hair done every month, and they get their feet done every month, and like one mare, Alizé, like, she loves to have her hair a bit longer, and the guys do that. So they have a bit of fun with it as well. So it's just looking after these great mares that have looked after us and done a great thing for us. So it's that sort of aftercare that we're really sort of keen to continue with.
but Darley's A for Darren Beedman, full of running at the 200. She's about 4 or 5 clear and in no danger of the defeat at this point. On the outside, Tani Girl, on the inside, Monsoon winning then segments, but Darley's a low tiring, a mile too good, and Darley's A has beaten Tani Girl, third Monsoon winning.
I was so thrilled to see Elise here. Of course, you know, what a great family. This is the great Triscay family and Astern, the other Elise as well. Fabulous racehorses that have come through for generations. And you know, as you said, has that sort of Rory's Jester in the mane there, slightly longer, and the head shape too. But tell us a little bit about her.
Yeah, so she was a filly that we bought off the track, and then she went on to produce for us, and she's produced Essawira, who's obviously one of our blue hens, and who's in turn produced Astern, who stands as stud for us, and Alize, who's a granddaughter who's just now retired, and she's got an invincible sort of filly first fall. She's given so much to us, and through her daughters and sons as well. So, you know, it's just a great pedigree and a great mare, and she's a lovely natured mare too, which is great.
Yeah, she was very happy to come up and see Scarfy, the cameraman, and all of us. She was lovely. And then, of course, here's another sort of step in the whole progression of Darley in Australia. Cataclysm was part of the purchase of this whole property from the Inghams. And of course, she's the dam of the Blue Diamond winner, Earthquake.
Eloping by neck to Earthquake, and they're 2 lengths to Piacenza. The rest for boxing on, headed by Lamosti. Now Earthquake given a slap with the whip, and she answers and kicks away with great acceleration. 3 lengths pouring away from them, and it's Earthquake winning it easily from about 3 lengths to Eloping, and Lamosti got up for third.
That was great. I mean, as I say, came from that purchase with Inghams, and then she went on, made it with Exceeding Excel, who was standing for us up at Darley at the time, and went on to produce Earthquake, who, you know, won the Blue Diamond pretty impressively and ran second in the Golden Slipper. So straight away, like she's really sort of helped and produced for us, and you know, and again, just a lovely natured mare. She'll mooch around there and you know, just a lovely mare to have on the farm.
Mad Moon as Sir Dragonet fighting it out. Anthony Van Dyke on the far side, inside the final furlong. Anthony Van Dyke, Sir Dragonet and Mad Moon racing up towards the line. On the near side, Japan with Broom. Anthony Van Dyke has won it.
And I really loved seeing Arctic Drift. She's been such an incredible global influence, bounding a Group 1 winner. Believe and Exceed, who's the dam of the Epsom Derby winner, Anthony Van Dyke. So the influence of these mares stretches right around the world.
Exactly, like she came to us as a maiden mare from America by Gone West, and she produced Believe and Succeed, who was one of the first crops of Exceeding Excel. We sold her as a yearling when we were selling yearlings up at Kelvinside, stakes winner, and then she went on to produce a Group 1 winner by Lonro, who was incidentally standing at with Inghams. So came through that purchase and then produced an English Derby winner by Galileo.
It's in the wings, going on observation post, pulled outside but can find no more, and it's in the wings, the winner observation post, second Ibn Bay, third.
And then you see, you know, a horse such as High School, Sadler's World's full sister to In the Wings. I mean, that's just a wonderful European sort of family. But, you know, it hasn't sort of necessarily produced what the pedigree would suggest. But you never know which of her grandfoals might throw something really good.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like, she's probably got the best pedigree, the deepest pedigree originally of everyone. She came out from Europe as well as a young maiden mare. Probably hasn't produced to the level we'd like, but at the same time, she's a sort of mare. She's got a home for life. I mean, she's probably one of the mares that's probably not the greatest nanny. Like she sort of a little bit sort of looks after herself too much, but at the end of the day, she's still got a home for life, and no, she looks great, and she's sort of sprightly around the place. But I think again that's important, no matter where they come from or what they've done, that we look after these mares in their retirement.
Paul Ailey is going for a split between them, and he's coming through, ingratiating late, 100 to go. Paul Ailey bursts through, takes the lead, ingratiating coming at it. Paul Ailey, too classy.
And then Chatoyant, the dam of Palili. I mean, there's still so much upside to these old girls, isn't there? Still going round in the big races.
Yeah, well, look, she's exactly right. There is a bit of upside. She's got Palili, who's like a very sort of sharp sprinter that we've got in the system at the moment, and who knows where he's going to get to. But you know, like she's been a great producer for us as well. She's thrown 2 other stakes winners, and we're pretty excited about that. But she's a lovely mare. Again, just a lovely, good-natured mare. She's a good nanny. And you know, we look forward to what can happen in the next couple of months. And
a mare like Rum Cruise, you know, I'm just fascinated to see the hooves and the maintenance that goes into it. They're in fantastic condition.
Yeah, and it is something that we've learned. Like we learn as we go through this. Like she's a mare that's retired, you know, and sometimes when we just let them be and get back to nature, like she's not shod. She's never been shod like since she's retired, as most of the mares in here are, and it's just amazing how well they cope with that. So we're always learning about it. As we say, it's a process that we need to keep doing and get better at across the industry to look after these older mares, and now they're still teaching us something every day, so that's good.
So what advice would you give to people that have older mares that have been brood mares, they're retired now? What are the most important, the key things to keeping them happy as long as they can?
I think the important thing is to get them out in a group with other mares. Like, don't just have one or two here and there, just have them out in a group, and they'll enjoy that. As they are a herd animal, as we said, like they like being around other horses, and I think that's the best thing. It's just let them be horses again. Give them out in the paddock where they're sort of, you know, it's not too hilly or anything like that, and just let them be horses and enjoy themselves.